started the dumbest rumor at school. He told one of his friends, hey, did you know the cafeteria has a secret menu? His friend was like what? And without even thinking, the kid says, grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. Now, that's not true. The cafeteria does not have a secret menu, and they definitely don't make grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. But the next day, the kid he told went to the lunch line, walked up there and said, hey, can I get the grilled mac? A what? She was like, no, we don't make that. But the rumor kept spreading. By Friday, like 20 kids asked for it. The lunch ladies kept saying, we don't have that. But this kid, he kind of upped the rumors a bit by saying, oh no, you have to ask the right lunch lady for it. Or only 8th graders know how to say it. It got so ridiculous, the principal was like, yo, what is going on? This went on for a while, until one day, the cafeteria was serving mac and cheese. And they had bread and butter. So one of the lunch ladies in the kitchen was like, you know what? Fine. Let's make some grilled mac and cheese. And let me tell you, apparently, it was absolutely delicious. When someone came up there and ordered it, and they actually said yes, cheers began erupting throughout the cafeteria. They loved it, and I guess that was enough for them, because after that day, nobody ever asked again. Gotta respect the lunch ladies. Sleepover tonight. Heck yeah! This kid went to sleep over at his friend's house for the first time. When he got there, he noticed there was a stopwatch hanging on the wall right outside the bathroom door. Now, he didn't think too much of it at first, but that night, he went to take a shower because they were playing with dirt earlier. He goes in, closes the door, locks it, he's showering. Right when the water turned on, he heard a beep. Apparently, what happens in this house is anytime anybody in this household goes to the bathroom, whether it's to shower, take a dump ski, or anything, the dad would start the timer. Now, if you came out of the bathroom before the timer hit 7 minutes, you were good, nothing would happen. But if it hit 7 minutes, the dad would immediately run downstairs and shut off all of the water. So then, whoever would be taking a shower or whatever, or washing their hands, it would turn off. But that wasn't sinister enough for old man. No, he changed his methods. Now, if you were in the shower, after that timer hit 7 minutes, he would go downstairs, but he wouldn't turn the water off. He would just turn off the hot water valve. So the shower water would immediately turn freezing cold. And then all you could hear from that bathroom was the maniacal laughing of the dad downstairs. What a crazy guy. It was supposed to be a normal middle school sleepover, but then things got crazy. It was 4 friends, they were all in 8th grade. They had the sleeping bags in the basement, Nerf gun, soda, the usual. They go upstairs, they're playing video games, but then one of the friends says this, yo, what's that behind the fence over there? Oh, that's my neighbor's hot tub. We should go in it. Oh. Wait a minute. They laughed it off at first, but 1:30 a.m. hits. The parents are asleep, and they went outside. Are we really doing this? This is a bad idea, guys. Shut your mouth, Ralphie. Everyone chill out. We're going in. Next thing you know, all 4 of them are sitting in the neighbor's hot tub, snacking on Doritos, and someone's playing music from their phone. Okay, this is really nice. Pure relaxation, boys. Pure relaxation. All right, we should get out soon, guys. Shut the hell up. Well, that's when, all of a sudden, the backyard floodlights go on. Oh my god, run. Yeah, there's 4 kids in my hot tub right now. Get out of here. The next morning, everybody's in the kitchen having breakfast. Everyone's worried about last night. Well, the doorbell rings. Oh, I'll get that. Wait, no. Hi, Mr. Johnson. Hi, Carol. We should have a conversation. She found out everyone gets in big trouble, but that sleepover went down in history as one of the greatest of all time. This kid carried 2 lunch boxes to school every single day. One was a normal insulated lunchbox. It had his food in it. The other was a very old, dirty, dented metal lunchbox. He never opened it, and he never let anybody touch it. His friends always asked him, what's inside that lunchbox, bro? He would just smile and say, don't worry about it. By middle school, people just started making fun of him for it. Weirdo's got 2 lunchboxes, and that one's a nasty one. Yeah, he's probably got boogers in there. Well, he didn't let this bother him. He went through all the middle school, and on the last day of 8th grade, his friend asks him, bro, seriously, what's in there? He opened it. Inside was tons of notes. Hundreds. Every single lunch note his mom had packed for him since he was in kindergarten. Good luck on your spelling test. Love you, son. Happy birthday. Can't wait to hear about your test. He never threw them away. And that old metal lunchbox was the very first lunchbox his mom ever bought him. When it got too beat up and rusty to carry food, he just bought another one. But he still carried the metal one around with him. He said that those memories, those notes, were way too valuable to throw away or leave behind. And every day he would read them, and it gave him a little bit of a pick-me-up. That, my friends, is beautiful. It's a big family birthday party. All the cousins are the same age, around middle school. There's cake everywhere, balloons, pizza crusts on the couch. By 8 p.m., the party's over. The adults are done. One of the aunts says, "All right, kids, that's a party. Nobody's leaving till we all help clean up." One cousin says, "No, I'm not cleaning this. I gotta go home, man. I mean, I don't want to clean it either, but what do we do?" "I have an idea." That cousin then just drops to the ground. Full body collapse right on the floor, and everyone's screaming, "Oh my God, Corey! Corey, wake up!" The kid's not moving at all. One of the cousins is like, "Okay, bro, joke's over, stop." But Corey is just committing to this. His eyes are closed, he's limp, he's silent while people are shaking him. "Come on, Corey, get up, get up." What he didn't know was one of his uncles was in the kitchen and called 911. So now paramedics burst into the house. "Where is he? Where is he?" That's when he's like, "I'm better now." Everybody explodes. The parents are furious. The cousins are like, "Bro, that was way too far." He's grounded for months. The ambulance leaves, and now all the cousins are forced to clean up double time. They didn't just have to clean up from the party. They had to now clean all the bathrooms and rake the yard. It was insane. So his little bit to get him out of cleaning made things 10 times worse. There was this kid in middle school who was so fast at taking tests. He would always finish before everybody else. Done. Math test, first one done. History quiz, sped through it. Well, one day it was a Scantron test, and he finishes it in less than 10 minutes. It then gets graded, and the teacher comes over. "Hey, you, nobody finishes a 60-question test in under 10 minutes. You cheated." I did not." The class is quiet. The two of them argue for a long time. The principal gets involved, and finally, "Fine, you know what? You stay after school, we're taking this test. Just you, me, and the principal in the same room." And what she does is she switches the answers on the Scantron, so it's different now. Well, after school, he sits down, he gets a different version of this test, and he goes. In 7 minutes, he's done. Grades it on the spot. Another 100%. But this isn't possible. "Mrs. Johnson, I think he's just really smart. You're good to go home, buddy." The teacher doesn't even apologize, but she never accused him of stuff ever again. And even though she saw it with her own eyes, for the rest of the year, she still never fully trusted him. He's just a genius. The locker room at this one school was built on a limestone creek, but nobody cared about the foundation. One day, this kid named Mike was running late to gym class, and he was the only one in the locker room because everybody else was in the gym. He was sitting on a bench, tying his shoe. What is that noise? He hears a strange noise coming from the floor, so he stood up, and he felt the ground kind of dip. He realized the floor definitely didn't look right, so when he goes to the gym, he tells the PE teacher, "Coach, I think the floor in the locker room is moving and it made a loud noise." But the coach did not care. "Oh, you scared of the floorboards now, Mike? The floor isn't moving, you're going crazy." Now everyone's laughing at him. "You know what, actually? Get down and give me 20 push-ups right now." So now, middle of the gym, everyone's standing around Mike as he's doing push-ups. "Mike's afraid of the floor, isn't that right, coach?" "Shut up, Billy." At the end of the push-ups, Mike stands up. The coach gives one last word. "So from now on, stop being so frickin' soft and get to gym on time." But right as he said that, a loud crash was heard throughout the entire school. They go to the locker room. "Oh, look, coach." The floor had collapsed. There was a 5-foot wide hole, and the lockers had fallen in it. It was a frickin' sinkhole. Mike was right. "I think Mike was right, coach." "You got something to say to me, coach?" Yeah. "Everyone evacuate the locker room." And he never apologized to Mike. But it all started because this kid had the weirdest job at school. He fixed people's reputations. See, anytime somebody embarrassed themselves, they would feel horrible. They would feel like everyone's talking about them. It wasn't a nice feeling. Like if someone was tripped in the hallway, called the teacher mom, threw up at lunch, everybody would spend the rest of the day talking about it. Unless this kid got involved. Because what he would do is if he was paid enough money or given something valuable enough, he would start an even crazier rumor about somebody else. Not really mean rumors, just unbelievable ones that would make everybody forget what that one kid went through. "Dude, you hear that one kid, Tyler, brought a turtle to class?" "No, it wasn't a turtle, it was a bag of turtle poop." And once something like that spread around, the previous embarrassment, the one the kid paid to get rid of, went away. And it worked brilliantly because people's attention spans are shorter than you think. When other people found out who this reputation fixer was, he began to have clients. People kept his phone number in their phone just in case they would ever need him. And a lot of kids did. "Bro, You gotta help me. Text me the details, send me $15, and by lunch, you'll be good. He would then get the text, the money, he would disappear. By lunch? Wow. Kid's a genius. Gone. You gotta respect the hustle. There was this kid in high school who refused to buy a desk chair, and instead he would sit on 3 milk crates stacked on top of each other every single day when he was gaming. All of his friends roasted him for it. That's your chair, bro? You're a freaking loser. But he would always say, why would I spend hundreds on a chair when these crates work? Well, one day his back starts killing him. His legs kept falling asleep, and that is actually when he realized there's a reason why people buy actual chairs. Well, that's kinda where I'm at, guys. I've been editing YouTube shorts in this random chair for 8 hours a day, every day. I finally upgraded. It's 100% the upgrade I've been needing. Heiser 3. Look at these armrests. What? It's got a magnetic pillow. My favorite part. I'm taking a nap now,
Heiser 3 is so comfortable. $30 off with the code Elliot. Come on, baby. Hit it.
At this one school, phones were banned in every classroom. Strictest policy anybody's ever seen. No loopholes. If you get caught, your phone is being taken. So one kid, he builds a business.
I'm gonna build a business.
He buys a bunch of nice binders, ones with compartments, folders, sleeves, and he customizes every single one. These binders would have sections. Section 1, crossword puzzles. Section 2, original comic strips drawn by kids in the art program that he paid. Section 3, an area for doodles. Each binder also came with a bonus packet. Fun gel pens, highlighters, sometimes a fidget toy. And he calls these boredom binders. At first, people told him this was a goofy, dumb idea. But then one kid bought one and absolutely loved it.
Yo, it's actually lit. There's riddles, comics in there. I found this awesome pen.
I'm gonna have to get one.
By the end of that week, everybody wants one and business is absolutely booming. And here's the awesome part. He didn't just sell the binders. He offered weekly refills for a small price. He would load in new crosswords, new comics, new riddles.
Enjoy. And hey, for $2, give me the binder back and I'll refill it with new stuff.
He made over $300 in the first 2 weeks. And the cool part is teachers didn't even shut it down. They liked it because it actually kept kids quiet, focused, and somehow it made them perform better on tests. And it was the only school business that nobody complained. And honestly, you gotta respect the hustle. This teacher roasted his students. So in this 10th grade history class, the teacher has a tradition. Every Friday before the bell, he would roast one student. I'm gonna roast Steven today. Nothing too mean, just a little bit fun, like tiny little digs. Steven, your haircut looks like your little brother did it with a lawnmower. And your handwriting looks like a 5-year-old's. I'm just kidding around. Have a good weekend, guys. Pretty much all the kids laughed it off, but one kid, he was kind of a quiet kid, he starts a notebook, and he calls this Operation Final Bell. He passes this notebook around every week to other students in his class, and people write roasts of that teacher. One-liners, history burns, everything. By May, this notebook's absolutely packed. The last day of school comes, the bell rings, and the teacher goes, all right, guys, one last roast for old time's sake, huh? This kid then stands up and goes, yeah, but this time, we roast you. Wait, what? Yeah, you walk like you're mad at the floor. Your breath smells like a cat pooped in it. You dress like you buy clothes from the clearance rack at an old lady's store. We've learned more about your midlife crisis than the subject you teach. And you look goofy in that hat. Kinda harsh, but hey, I get it. That's a good one, guys. And then everyone leaves for the summer. Hey, can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, right? A $3,000 earring just sank to the bottom of a swimming pool. It was a July heat wave. The water at the public pool was cloudy. The deep end was super deep. Even the lifeguards were afraid. And at the bottom of the pool was now this girl's very expensive earring. Somebody help me, somebody help me. That's when everybody turned to this kid who was sitting in a chair playing with a ladybug. Do something. Do something, bug. You see, they called this kid Gills because every day in the summer he would play in pool water, then he would drink it. Don't ask him, dude, he's super weird. Yeah, but bro, if somebody could do it, it's Gills. Gills never used goggles. He said he could sense his surroundings through his fingertips. So they asked him, hey Gills, Yabo, we need your help, man. That girl lost a $3,000 earring. It's at the bottom of the deep end. And Gills did not hesitate. I'm on it. He dives right in. 1 minute passed, then 2. The snack bar worker paused the music. The crowd went dead silent. Everyone was waiting for Gills' lifeless body to float to the surface, when suddenly, a hand comes right out of the water, holding the earring. Oh my god! Here's your earring! I also found a hot dog down there. Free food! He ate the hot dog and sat back down with the ladybug. That day, the nickname Gills stopped being an insult. He was kind of a legend. And it all started because this substitute teacher had been subbing for this class a few times this year. And he's kind of an older guy. All his clothes were from JCPenney. He had a clipboard, but for some reason on this day, he was feeling a little feisty. He told this 5th grader to sit down, but the kid said, "You first." The sub snapped, began saying stuff like, "You know what, back in my day, there was respect for your elders." The 5th grader then said, "Oh yeah, well what are you gonna do about it, huh? You don't wanna know." Yeah, he held a fist up like he was threatening to fight this kid. Well, the 5th grader took that as a challenge and lunged towards the teacher. And these two are actually scrapping, man. Yeah. Oh. And this whole thing was absolutely insane. This teacher, older dude but still kind of buff, was fighting with this 5th grader. And the 5th grader was winning. The entire class is going crazy. One of this kid's classmates said, "Yeah, steal his wallet, Tyrell, steal his money." That's insane. Well, one clean punch to the jaw, that teacher goes down. The room is silent. Then, starting from the back of the classroom, one clap, then another. Then the slow clap turns into a beautiful applause. Well, the celebration didn't last long because the principal came in, tried to figure out what happened. Tyrell was, suspended for sure, and that teacher was fired. Because yeah, it's not okay for a student to fight with a teacher, but this teacher kind of threatened him and egged him on and fought back. He didn't just lose his job, he lost his license. But kids in that classroom said that was the craziest day ever. Yeah, I bet. This kid's family owned a carpet store, which meant their garage was full of carpet samples. Little squares that are all different colors and different textures. Little mini carpets. And now most people would have looked at these and saw worthless pieces of carpet, but he did not ignore it. He saw a business opportunity. So one Monday, he brings a stack of these carpet samples to school. He takes 2 and sets them on each side of his desk. And that class, was where he put his elbows. Bro, what are those? Oh, these? They're desk carpets. They keep my elbows comfortable all class period. And that's all he had to say. Immediately, people wanted these little luxurious desk mats. And he just starts charging $5, $2, honestly, whatever people had. Bag of chips? Sure, here's 2 squares. Enjoy your class. After a while of doing this, a bunch of students at that school were using these every single day. The more the demand went up, the more he charged for the nicer quality fabrics. Business was absolutely flippin' booming. In total, he made around $700, and then the school shut him down, because that's what schools do. That's how you gotta think, and you gotta respect it. My bike chain broke. Call Bike Boy. This neighborhood had this one kid. Everybody called him when their bike broke. He could fix anything. Flat tire, if your chain fell off, the brakes were wonky, call him. Hey, my brakes are wonky. I'm on 5th Street. You called the right guy. He showed up carrying this beat up old backpack. He drove a bike, and attached to the bike was this trailer thing that he would keep all his tools in, spare tires, chains. He had a bike pump. It was a mobile bike repair shop. He even made his own tiny business cards. Tyler's Bike Rescue, and his phone number. The entire neighborhood kept them in their wallets, because you never knew when you needed them. Even parents would put these business cards on their refrigerator. Business started getting bigger and bigger. Suddenly, he wasn't just fixing bikes. He would install new grips, swap the pedals out for something nicer, adjust seats, improve the seats. He was now a bike repair and customization service. Every afternoon, there'd be 2 or 3 bikes flipped upside down in this kid's driveway, and he'd be working on them. People were paying him pretty good. And by the end of summer, Tyler, this random middle school kid, became the neighborhood's official bike roadside assistance and customization. You gotta respect the hustle. There was a kid at school that sold pencils. Now, yes, it was a simple business, but he had one of these fancy, expensive pencil sharpeners at his house, and they sharpened pencils perfectly. Like the wood around the lead was even. The point was as sharp as a pin. It's perfect. So every night he'd be in his garage watching his TV, sharpening these pencils, and then he would bring them to school the next day. He had this very carefully picked out pencil case that would protect the tips of all these pencils. The next morning he would open it in class and show his classmates. I mean, I already have a pencil, but those look amazing. Something about how perfectly sharpened they were captured people's eyes every single time. He sold them for 50 cents. cents each. And when he would hand these pencils over to the customers, they would hold on to it and look at it like they just bought something very expensive, very rare. Well, word spread, business began to boom, and people all around the school wanted his pencils, which is crazy to me because they could have just sharpened their own. But there was something about his. Some kids even bought them and refused to write with them because they didn't want to ruin how good they were. What? In total, he made around $400. He ran this for like a year, and then he stopped because he bought the pair of shoes he wanted. And what do I always say? Write it in the comments before I can say it. You gotta respect the hustle. Why do lifeguards care more about a frickin' sandwich than somebody drowning? This guy went to a public pool, and he got yelled at before he was even in the water. He was standing a few feet away from the pool eating a sandwich when the lifeguard blew his whistle. Hey, no food near the pool! Go throw it away and wash your hands! Meanwhile, there's a literal diaper floating in the water, but this lifeguard doesn't care. The guy goes away, tosses the sandwich and washes his hands, comes back to the pool, and does a cannonball. Hey! No cannonballs! Too much splash! What? But here's the wildest part. He calls this guy up. Come here. And he starts lecturing him. You know, cannonballs cause a huge splash and waves that disrupt other swimmers. He's going on and on. But at the same time, there's literally somebody in the pool actively drowning. Hey, no, you listen to me. No, but there's... The lifeguard doesn't even glance over. Somebody's drowning. Shut up. Luckily, somebody else jumped in the water and saved this guy. But the lifeguard did nothing. Later that day, the same guy the lifeguard was yelling at was drinking a water bottle by the pool. And the lifeguard kicked him out because having unsealed water bottles was apparently against the rules. I don't know. That's just crazy. This school banned caffeine, but the no caffeine policy was failing. Every trash can was a graveyard for energy drink cans. But there were too many kids blatantly not following the no caffeine rule, so they couldn't punish everybody. So the next Monday morning, the dean announced that they have installed molecular sensors in the HVAC vents. And don't bother with Gatorade cans or cups. These sensors pick up the scents of taurine, caffeine, so if you crack a can, we will know. Now, obviously the dean was lying. That's not a thing. And a lot of kids knew that, but some kids were super gullible. So this worked for a few days. The hallways were silent and the bins were empty. No mountain of cans. But the students, they figured out how to blind the sensors. Now, this big group of students weren't the smartest, but here's what they came up with. Every time a student opened an energy drink or was sipping caffeine, 4 others would blast the nearest vent with Axe body spray. Cracking now? Spray, boys, spray! They figured if you overloaded the sensors with fragrance, they wouldn't catch the scent of caffeine. Now, like I said, the sensors were a lie, but now there was a real issue with school air quality. Halfway through the day, there was so much Axe body spray filtering through all the vents that it was unbreathable. They had to evacuate the school. Students, everybody, please evacuate the building. We have a major air quality issue. God, this is ridiculous. The school was shut down for 48 hours. Now, this was at some school in a small town, so I guess that makes a bit more sense. But still, that's nuts. There's always that one kid in school that would do anything. Not for money or clout, just because. Well, at this school, there was one kid, and he would do whatever anyone dared him to do. Slap a kid with a piece of pizza? All right. Take a dump in the urinal? I got you. Stand up on a lunch table in the middle of lunch and dump a chocolate milk on his head while he's screaming? He didn't just do it, he committed. People started testing him to see where the line was. I dare you to eat this ladybug, okay? I dare you to toss a spoonful of yogurt on the principal. That's easy. Yeah, there wasn't a line. He would do anything. But here's the weird part. In class, he was completely normal. Yo, what was the homework from yesterday? What was that small package he gave us? It's actually due tomorrow, but super easy. The last question's a trick question though, so be careful. But yeah, you guys should be fine. Let me know if you have any questions. Cool. Well, he didn't have any social media, no Instagram, no TikTok, no Snapchat. So after graduation, he disappeared. Nobody has seen him or heard from him ever since. This kid's family owned a bounce house company. Every summer, they had this warehouse packed with the inflatable bouncy houses. There were obstacle courses with slides, tons of those giant blower fans to keep these things inflated. Well, one year, during the last week of school, this kid gets a brilliant idea. Monday morning comes, he walks into school carrying a giant roll of raffle tickets. $5 a ticket. Kids keep asking, so, what do you win? You'll see Friday. but I promise it's awesome. People are curious and they're buying tickets. Some people are pooling money with their friends because they know that this has got to be good. Friday comes. It's the last day of school, and right as the final bell rings, he gathers everybody that bought a ticket. He reaches into a bucket and pulls out the first one. That kid starts screaming, then another, then a third. 3 winners. Now he finally explains the prize. Okay, so each winner gets to pick one day this summer, and on that day, I'm gonna drop off a giant bounce house to your yard for the whole day. And people went crazy because winning didn't just mean you got a bounce house in your yard for the day. It meant your house became the place that every kid wanted to be. It was gonna be a party. And those 3 parties ended up being the biggest and best ones of that summer that nobody ever forgot. The next year, he did it again, and he sold way more tickets than the first year. He made hundreds and hundreds of dollars selling raffle tickets for things his family already had. And that, my friends, is why you gotta respect the hustle. This teacher was brutal for this. If you misbehaved in class, didn't do your homework, or just got in trouble, you had to erase the whiteboard with your clothes. One afternoon, she calls on this kid to answer a question, but he wasn't listening. Billy! Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question? Oh, you weren't paying attention. Come up here, actually. I need you to erase this part of the board with your sleeve. Can I please not? You see, this kid was wearing a brand new white hoodie that he had got for his birthday from his parents. It was expensive, but she did not care. Now! The kid hesitated for a second, but then he went up there, his sleeve, and the right sleeve of that hoodie was dirty, ruined, was no longer pristine. He goes home, and that afternoon when he walks through his front door, his parents are like, "Yo, son, what happened to your sweatshirt?" So he tells the whole story. His dad didn't even finish listening. He grabbed his keys immediately, got into his car, and headed straight to the school. He brings his son with him. The principal is still in the office. "Hi, excuse me, my wife and I bought our son this brand new hoodie yesterday for his birthday. Look at his sleeve. The teacher made him do that." Apparently, the principal couldn't believe it. That's kind of sinister. So he said, "Don't worry, I'll handle this." As him and his dad were walking out of the office, he heard the principal, "Mrs. Johnson, please head to my office." And by the next morning, they noticed something. That teacher was on her best behavior, and she never made anybody erase the whiteboard with their clothes ever again. This kid got a summer job at a golf course when he was 13 years old. "I'm 13, I work at a golf course." His whole job was simple. When golfers finished their round, they would drop off their golf carts. He would hose it down, then they would get the golf carts and take it away. After a couple of weeks, his bosses trusted him with the golf carts, even to drive them sometimes. Then one afternoon, he's taking this really nice golf cart back to the clubhouse. Well, there's a pond between him and the cart barn. Cuts the corner a little too tight. One tire slips off the path. He jerks the wheel. The whole cart is sliding. He's hitting the brake, but nothing's happening. "I'm hitting the brake. Nothing's happening." And then splash. Him and the golf cart in the pond. He jumps out just before this thing sinks. Now he's standing there soaking wet, staring at what he just did, and he's terrified. But wait till he finds out whose golf cart that was. Club manager comes running over after hearing the ruckus. "What happened over here? Please tell me that wasn't cart 12. That was cart 12. Turns out that was the mayor's brand new golf cart that he was keeping there at the club, and now it was sitting at the bottom of a pond. The mayor comes out. "Hey, is that my cart in the water? I want him fired." "What?" "Listen, I'm sorry, kid, but you're fired." I mean, yeah, I guess that does make a little sense. This bully stole this kid's lunch every single day. The second this kid would sit down in the cafeteria, here he came. "Hey, butt boy, give me your lunch." I hate my life. A couple months later, this kid finally got tired of this happening. So he started packing things he knew the bully would hate. Tuna sandwich, loaded with onions. "Give me your lunch." Okay. The next day, leftover Brussels sprouts and a bag of deli ham. Day 3, hard-boiled eggs and sardines. The whole lunchroom smelled absolutely horrendous. After a week, out of habit, this bully goes up there to grab it. "You sure you want it?" No. He doesn't. And that was it. He never stole this kid's lunch ever again. That's genius. This kid would fight with his sister every day about who got to use the TV remote. They only had one television, and whoever had the remote in their possession would control what everyone watched. One afternoon, this kid grabbed it and switched on his favorite show, but he turned off the show his sister had been watching. Hey, that's not fair! Yeah, it's fair enough. She climbed across the couch. She grabbed his wrist, and they started wrestling for the remote. The mom yelled from the kitchen, "If I have to come in there, nobody's watching TV for the rest of the week." They froze for about 3 seconds. Then they continued fighting. His sister finally snapped. She ripped the remote out of his hands and smacked him in the face. It didn't really hurt at first, but then it stung. He walked to the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror, and that's when he saw it. Oh my God. There was a perfect rectangular mark on his face, and inside the rectangle, backwards, but completely readable, it said, "Made in China." Oh God. Their mom took one look at it and knew exactly what happened. Both of the kids were grounded from TV for the rest of the week, but that mark remained on his face for a long time. He was walking around looking like he'd been manufactured overseas. That's insane. This kid went to his friend's house and noticed that every single cabinet in the kitchen had locks on it. The weird part though, his friend was in 8th grade. Why would there be locks on the cabinet? He thought, his parents must be controlling. Well, one day he finally asked, "Yo, what's with all the locks in the cabinets?" His friend just said, my dad. Apparently, this kid's dad would sleepwalk every night. He would wander into the kitchen completely asleep, open every single cabinet, and eat whatever he could find. Chips or cookies, even leftover pizza, he would just smash it. He was once caught grabbing peanut butter straight from the jar and feeding it to a picture of the family dog on the wall. One night, he made himself scrambled eggs. And every time he would do this, the kitchen looked like an absolute tornado blew through there the next morning. Cabinet doors open and food and drink everywhere. After months of cleaning up this horrible mess, his wife, this friend's mom, finally locked every single cabinet. So now, instead of sleepwalking every night and eating random food, he would just be making tons of noise trying to break in to the locked cabinets. Oh, way to go, Dad! This kid went over to his friend's house for the first time, and everything seemed completely normal at first. They played video games, had snacks, had dinner, then everyone was watching TV together in the living room. They're watching some action movie. And then a few minutes in, one of the characters makes the dumbest decision imaginable. Without saying a word, the dad reaches to the side of the couch, grabs what looks like a giant brick, and he just chucks it at the TV. Yeah, come on, idiot! Kid almost has a heart attack. What? But the thing is, it wasn't a real brick. It was styrofoam. It bounced right off the screen and landed on the carpet. Everyone just kept watching the movie. A few minutes later, another character does something stupid. The mom. Oh, come on! You see, the family had a whole stack of these styrofoam bricks on the sides of each seat in the living room. They were there specifically for throwing them at the TV whenever somebody got mad at what was happening there. This kid thought it was the funniest thing ever. So the next weekend, he's home with his family and they're watching TV and something dumb happens. He doesn't have a brick, so he grabs this pillow and he throws it at the TV. But the pillow was a little heavier than the styrofoam. The TV knocked over and unplugged. His dad, "Now why would you want to do that, son?" He just said sorry. He said it was too much work to explain himself, but he did say he loved going over to that friend's house. This family had no air conditioning and they owned one fan. There were 3 kids, 4 bedrooms, parents, and one for each kid. And every night, the fan would rotate rooms. Monday it was in one room, Tuesday the next room, Thursday the next room, and so on. After it rotated through all rooms, it would start over. And this was not negotiable. These are the rules, kids. Now imagine it's 100 degrees outside. You finally crawl into bed and then you remember, oh crap, it's not my night for the fan. You would lay there, sweating, listening to the fan going in your siblings' room. Sure, they complained, but they all dealt with it because that's just the way things were. It's another story. The family couldn't afford another fan, so they all just dealt with it. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. There was a family who kept the same gallon of unopened chocolate milk for 6 years. When the dad bought it 6 years ago, nobody was allowed to drink it. He was convinced that unopened food and beverage would become a collectible and rare over time. He started referring to the milk as an investment. Every few months, he would take it out of the fridge, polish it down, and put it back in the exact same spot. The kids weren't even allowed to move it. One afternoon, the son was moving it around looking for a juice box in the fridge. Careful! That could pay for your college one day! Sure it will, Dad. Sure it will. He's insane. They all thought their dad was insane, but the dad kept researching old food online. on eBay and kept showing the family. See, look, this unopened bag of chips sold for $2,000 last year. Yeah, Dad, that's chips. You're saving milk. Eventually, he bought a tiny refrigerator just to keep this gallon of milk in, and he put a lock on it. The family begged him to throw it away every single day, but he wouldn't. By the end of year 6, this gallon of milk was getting swollen. And one night, they heard a pop coming from the garage. He goes in there. The milk carton had exploded in that tiny fridge that he bought. The smell was so bad, they had to hire a crime scene cleanup company to come and clean it up. This kid said his dad wouldn't stop crying for days. That's pretty sus. At Logan's house, there was one rule. Don't go near the piano room, ever. His mom said it was off limits for emotional reasons. His dad called it a sacred space. And anytime a guest walked past the room, the family would act weird. Nothing to see in this room. One time, Logan's friend leaned on the door and the mom freaked out. So I was thinking that we can go to the, Hey! Oh, no. Well, that night during the sleepover, Logan admitted something. Yo, I've actually never been in the room myself either. You've never been in that room? No. Well, around 2 a.m., Logan's friend who was sleeping over just couldn't handle it anymore, so he got up and he snuck to the piano room. And then he opened the door. And that's when we saw it. Logan's dad was inside wearing a tuxedo, sitting at a grand piano, his fingers hovering above the keys. He wasn't playing, his fingers were just doing this. He then said, "Get out of here," and closed the door. Okay. He slammed the door shut and went back to sleep. He later found out that Logan's dad had a very weird obsession with grand pianos, and apparently that time of night was his sacred time. So, I don't know, super weird. This kid slammed the classroom door so hard, it cracked. The school called his parents and made them pay $400 to buy a new door. The kid wasn't happy. You know what? I'm not happy. But him and his family handed over the money. Then weeks go by, then a month. That same cracked door was still attached to the classroom. That's what they used every day. One afternoon, he asked the janitor, "Weren't they gonna replace this door with the money I paid them?" Janitor said, "Oh, I think that money went towards something else." Oh, that ticked him off. The next day, the kid came to school with a drill. His dad's drill. He walked straight up to that damaged door, unscrewed the hinges, picked up the entire thing, and he began walking towards the parking lot. A teacher came running over. What are you doing?" "Listen, I paid for this door. I gave you guys $400. You said you were gonna get a new one. If you're not getting a new one, I'm taking my door." The principal made him put it back, and the school installed the replacement door the same week. That's honestly hilarious. There was a kid at this school that got famous for designing lockers. Every weekend, he would go to Five Below, Dollar Tree, or Walmart. He would buy tiny mirrors, magnetic shelves, fake plants, LED light strips, mini rugs, wallpaper, anything that would look cool in a locker. Then his classmates would hire him to completely redesign the inside of their locker. Before he touched anything, he had a series of questions. Do you want modern or a vintage look? You like sports? You want it minimalist? You have a favorite comic book character? What's your favorite color? He would then sketch the layout first in a notebook. Then, that night, he would go through all the stuff that he would have from Five Below, Dollar Tree, Walmart, and he would get together what he needed. Now, he only worked on the weekends. You see, his mom worked at the school, and there were events that would happen at the school during the weekends, so he was allowed to go in. And that's when he would design their locker. By Monday, the kids would come in, go to their locker, and it was completely redone. Beautiful. It wasn't free at all. You had to pay him money, 20, sometimes $50, depending on what you wanted. This business was so respected and well known, some parents would even contact him to surprise their kids with a redesigned locker. One year, the school held a best decorated locker contest. He didn't enter, but out of the top 10 lockers, he designed 8 of them. What a legend! You gotta respect the hustle. On Monday, Mr. Davis said, "Bring a towel and wear old clothes on Friday, class." No explanation, that was it. And the rumors start instantly. "Bro, we're painting." "No, guys, we're making slime." One kid remembers seeing a package of unfilled water balloons in a Walgreens bag, sitting on Mr. Davis's desk. No, guys, listen to me. It's water balloons." That seemed like the most reasonable explanation, and kids got hyped. By Friday, everyone's ready. One kid brings a change of clothes, one kid's wearing goggles, most of the class is in their swimsuits. They're super hyped. Well, they get in Mr. Davis's class and they walk outside. There's water balloons everywhere, buckets full of them, and the weather's perfect. This is a dream come true. Yes. Literally a dream. Imagine a water balloon fight in the middle of a school day. That's when Mr. Davis says this. All right, class, today we are studying projectile motion. Huh? Each of you will take turns throwing one water balloon at that wall right there. Then we'll log your trajectory data and calculate your angles. That's it. It's an actual frickin' lesson. One by one, kids are launching water balloons at this blank wall. One kid really wanted to splash someone, so he fake stumbles and accidentally pops a balloon on one of his classmates. Oops. That felt nice. Hey, no fooling around. It's a 0 for both of you. Now, they were never promised a water balloon fight, but they built themselves up and they truly believed it. They had a substitute teacher, and Henry was sitting in the back of the classroom. He was minding his business. And the substitute came in that day strict for no reason. He scanned the classroom and he saw Henry in the back. He sees 2 small devices in Henry's ears. Hey, you, give me those headphones now. Okay. He didn't argue, he just handed over the devices. The substitute then took these, put it in the drawer, and began teaching. About 10 minutes later, he needed a volunteer. Okay, one of you come up here. You know what? How about you? In the back. Henry. No response. Since you wanted to listen to music all class, why don't you come up here and help me? Still nothing. He then lost it and walked straight to Henry. Hi, hello? Why are you ignoring me? Oh, you were talking to me? Yes. I'm sorry, I can't understand you, sir. You made me give you my hearing aids. This dude had confiscated Henry's medical necessity, and boy, did he feel stupid about that. Well, why didn't you tell me? I don't know, you seemed real strict about it. He returned the hearing aids right then and there, but he never returned to that school. Yeah, I wouldn't either. This teacher was the strictest in the school. No phones, no talking, and absolutely no food. But then one morning, before class, she saw a single flaming hot Cheeto perfectly taped to the middle of her desk. What is this? She peeled the snack off, put it in the garbage, and monitored the room incredibly well that day. Nobody came forward. The next day, another Cheeto, taped with a single piece of Scotch tape on the pencil sharpener. Another one. The next day, another one taped to the back of her chair. The day after that, it was taped to her escape key on her keyboard. What is going on? She had no idea who was doing this, and it was messing with her badly. So she went to the school principal and the people in charge. And they're like, okay, settle down, it's just a Cheeto, but I'll make an announcement. The principal was young and new, and he was about to make a major mistake. Good morning, students. Whoever keeps taping single hot Cheetos to things in Mrs. Gable's room, please stop. Uh-oh. He made that announcement to a middle school. What happened next? Dozens of students thought it was hilarious and started doing the exact same thing. There was flamin' hot Cheetos taped everywhere. Library books, school trophy case, the gym scoreboard. So the school tried to kill this joke for Mrs. Gable, but instead they accidentally started a cult, the taped hot Cheeto cult. And there was nothing they could do about it. The only thing that kills a trend is time, and it took some time. I was afraid to fall asleep in class, and this story is exactly why. This person starts by saying that Mr. Vance was a super chill teacher. What's up, class? Let's learn some history. He spent most of class leaning against the wall, talking about history like it was a bonfire story. Kids loved him, but he also kept a wooden paddle hanging on the wall right next to the whiteboard. No, it wasn't for hitting students. Why'd he have the paddle, you ask? Well, it was for situations like this. One day, this kid named Tyler, he had pulled an all-nighter. He had tons of homework to finish, and no matter how hard he tried to stay awake, he couldn't. The teacher clocked it. He then stopped teaching, went to the paddle, and walked by this kid's desk. And the kids in Tyler's row knew the drill. They all got everything off their desks and they kind of scooted back. The teacher then took that paddle, and as hard as he possibly could, he smacked it on the desk right next to Tyler. And it was so loud. And Tyler didn't just startle awake. He hopped about 5 feet in the air. The teacher then went right back to teaching. Hey, stay awake. All right, class. And boy, is that the worst. Now, my teachers didn't have a paddle, but they would just take their hand and I would never sleep. Top 3 pettiest teachers. Number 3. There was a teacher that gave detention for somebody sneezing twice. The first time it was, bless you. The second time, okay, now you're just messing with me. Detention after school today. It was allergy season too, so for the rest of the week, these kids were fighting for their lives. Well, one day at the end of class, his teacher had a sneezing fit. All right, oh, Miss Johnson, that's 3 sneezes. I guess that means you're suspended, huh? She never gave someone detention for sneezing again. Number 2, this one teacher right before class started one day moved the clock 10 minutes back just because she wanted to disappoint these kids when they started packing up at what they thought was the end of class. All right, we got a couple minutes left. I'm so hyped for lunch. Why are you boys packing up? Oh, miss, we only got 2 minutes of class left. Somebody check their phone. What the heck? That's right, I tampered with the clock. We have 10 minutes. It's time for group reading. That's just diabolical. Number 1 pettiest teacher. There was a teacher who failed the kid for using blue ink on a test. The problem was, she was the same teacher that lent him the pen. So you see, a kid forgot one. He asked, "Yo, can I borrow something for the test?" "Sure, here you go." She gave him a blue pen. Well, you see, in the syllabus, she had a rule where you weren't allowed to take a test with a blue pen. It had to be black. So he finishes the test, hands it in, and gets a 0. That teacher just wanted him to fail. And that's messed up. This school prank lasted for 2 years. It all began at this high school when a single rubber duck appeared in the school's water fountain. And nobody thought much of it. It was just a random duck. Who cares? Until the next day, 2 ducks. Then 4, then 10. By the end of that week, there was rubber ducks appearing in every sink, every toilet, and even in students' lockers. Teachers were losing their minds. The principal, she was done. She kept saying on the intercom, "Whoever's responsible for the ducks, speak up now, please." Silence. Nobody confessed. So they gave up. They figured it would eventually sizzle out. But here's the thing, it never stopped. For 2 years, rubber ducks would randomly appear in the craziest of places. Ceiling tiles, inside the vending machines, somehow. One duck even appeared in the vice principal's car. It became a legend till this senior year. It was graduation. The principal was giving her speech when suddenly a banner dropped down. What was on the banner? A single rubber duck. This kid walked to the front of the stage and said, "It was me. It was always me." He was a kid. His mom dragged him to the nearest 7-Eleven. "I don't want to go." "Well, that's too bad." Well, they get there. She goes in the store, but he waits outside. He then sees this older, strange-looking guy sitting against a wall. "Hey. Hey, want to see something cool?" And he's a kid, so he said yes. Of course he wants to see something cool, which you should never do. The man then smiles, and then pulls off a prosthetic leg and showed this kid his leg stump. Look at this. The leg stump had a very weird smiley face drawn on it in Sharpie. The kid absolutely freaks out. "That's not cool." The man then panics because I guess he had good intentions. "Oh, no, wait, look, it's actually cool, look." The kid's now ugly crying. The mom runs out of the store. "What's going on?" "His leg." The man's embarrassed. The mom's freaking out at him. I don't know why he showed the kid his leg stump anyway, but she went home with her kid. And years later, when he sees a 7-Eleven, he freaks out a little bit still. The principal's toupee gets stolen during school. And within minutes, everybody knows, and everybody's joking about it. "Dude, Mr. Killman looks so dumb." Kids were whispering in the hallways. Even teachers were trying not to laugh. And whenever he walks down the hallway, people pull their phones out to record him. He's humiliated. He's trying to act normal, but he's falling apart like a sad little puppy. And for a second, you almost feel bad for him. But then you remember, yesterday he called you into his office. He thought you were involved in a fight that you weren't involved in. So you're in there, and he's just going in. Now, don't you lie to me. I know you were involved in this. You're a horrible student. I knew the second that you got here, you were gonna cause trouble. And I bet your grades suck, don't they? Let's look them up. You know what? I'm not gonna look them up. I'm just gonna send you home to your horrible mom. You know, she was in my class when I taught here years ago, and she was horrible then too. Get out of here. Pretty brutal. And here's one more thing. You know exactly where the toupee is because you saw the kid that stole it. He secretly hid it behind the trophy case. Nobody else knew. And that kid is definitely not coming forward, so now it's only you. Could grab it, hand it back to him, be the bigger man, and maybe the principal will treat you differently, or you could destroy the toupee and let him be humiliated for the rest of the day. What would you do? Top 3 principals on a power trip. Number 1, this principal banned all backpacks because the hallways were messy and crowded. So now kids had to carry classes worth of stuff in their arms all day. Folders ripping open, papers on the floor. Meanwhile, this principal still walks around with her leather briefcase. Oh, pardon me. Oh, Pardon me. Became such an issue, parents kept calling the school, asking why backpacks weren't allowed. After a few days, so many kids started asking the principal about her briefcase that the rule died. The next one, this principal was tired of students being late to first period, so he forced every single teacher to lock every single classroom door the second the bell rings. And if you don't do it, there's gonna be problems. Didn't matter if it was raining outside or if your bus was late. If you weren't there before the bell, you weren't getting into class, and you had to go to the office. One morning, a school board member showed up for a surprise visit, and when she walked through the hallways, she saw tons of students banging on their classroom doors trying to get in. What is going on here? Oh. Number 1, there was a principal who decided students were too loud during lunch, so he made the cafeteria completely silent, and detentions were handed out to anyone that spoke even one word. Milk detention. Hundreds of kids eating in total silence. It was completely insane, until one day this kid brought a whoopee cushion. He thought it would be funny to prank his friend during silent lunch, so his friend sits down. It was a slow, loud whoopee cushion fart. Everyone was silent for a few seconds after that. Then they just burst out laughing. Even the principal. Okay, we can talk again. I guess all it took was some light-hearted fart joke to turn the mean old man into a softie again. This kid went to a Catholic school in Florida. Florida. And if you've ever been to Florida, you know that there are lizards everywhere. On walls, sidewalks, just chilling by the pool. It's a lovely day. So one day, this little lizard gets inside this school building. It's in a classroom. And everyone's freaking out for some reason. The teacher's consistently saying, "Nobody touch it! Nobody touch it!" And this one kid thought she was scared. That's why she was saying it. So he chased the lizard around. He picked it up. He caught it. "Don't worry, miss. I got it. I'll go put him outside." The teacher then gets really weird. "Oh, you shouldn't have touched the lizard. Why? You just invited the devil into your soul." "That's funny." "No, I'm serious. Get in the hall." She then sends this kid out into the hallway and calls this nun to come up. The nun then takes him to the chapel part of school where she prayed over him for the rest of the day. And this kid is sitting there. The nun also made the kid watch her kill the lizard with a cross. I'm not sure what kind of Florida Catholic school this is, but that's crazy. Nobody liked this teacher. She was constantly promising things and never following through, usually about animals. "Class tomorrow, I'm having a zookeeper bring in an aardvark." The class would cheer, but it would never happen. "Class tomorrow, I'm having the zookeeper bring in a boa constrictor." Class would cheer. Guess what? Never would happen. She would also lie about field trips, movie days. She was the worst. Every few weeks, she would get everyone excited about stuff and then just not follow through. By the end of the year, the class was completely over it. They find out she's retiring. It's the last week of school, and some kid comes up with an idea. "You see, my mom works at a candy store." And he said that that candy store sold these colorful candies that looked just like rocks. His mom made them. But here's what they did. The mom was willing to help get back at this teacher. But instead of the colorful candy chocolate, she dipped actual rocks in the candy coating. So they looked exactly the same as the real ones, except instead of chocolate, there was rocks. The class puts together this giant box, everything, and they put it on her desk. "Here, teach. Have them, enjoy." And because she's the way she is, of course, she's honored. "Oh wow, is it because I'm such a great teacher? You know what, I'm not gonna share these, but I will have one right now." And they're watching her. She's going to put this candy in her mouth. She does. Then she bites down. Immediately, tooth cracked. The teacher spits it into her hand and looks at it. It's a rock, and she's ticked off. They eventually find out who did it, and he was expelled. But obviously his mom wasn't mad because she's the one that helped him. But hey, that teacher sounded horrible. She deserved it. There was a weird kid at school that everybody avoided. He was really quiet. Well, one day, he brings a cake into class and sets it on the teacher's desk. What is this?" "I made it." "Oh, okay. Whose birthday is it?" "Nobody's. I just made it." "Oh, nice. Well, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna bring it to the teacher's lounge, okay? Huh?" Comes back, class moves on. The cake is now sitting in the teacher's lounge. Everybody's kind of skeptical. They're like, "I'm not eating that cake." Well, 3 teachers decide, "Hey, why not? I like cake." So they start eating it. Within an hour and a half, those teachers start leaving their classrooms. Their stomachs are going crazy. Oh no, oh. Subs have to come in, the office is kind of scrambling. The teachers spend the next few hours in the bathroom. Then somebody connects the dots. It's the cake. They keep it. They have somebody test it. The next day they find out the cake was filled with laxatives. The kid gets pulled out of class. Yo, come with me. Oh, okay. And then he's gone, and he never shows up to school ever again. Why in the world would he do that? This kid never got in trouble. He was quiet. He got good grades, which is why nobody suspected him when everything started. It begins during first period. Some girl in this class suddenly jumps out of her seat. The teacher runs over. Then immediately after, someone hears another scream from a different classroom. And then every 15 minutes, all day, from all around the school, screams. Because why? The screams meant somebody found a mouse. But it's not normal mice. Bright blue mice. Pink mice. Green mice running through the classrooms and the school, and nobody knows where the heck they came from. And because each of these mice were a different color, they figured somebody had to have brought these into school. So they started going around and searching people's backpacks. But what nobody knew was that that quiet kid, that smart kid, was preparing for this for weeks. You see, I have a pet snake at my house. He eats mice. I've been stockpiling them, and he was dyeing them different colors using Easter egg dye. Then, on the day of the prank, he shows up to school wearing a trench coat, and he'd modified the inside of the coat so it could fit all of these mice. And all morning long on that particular day, he would walk through the school and slowly, one at a time, drop a mouse here, drop a mouse there, drop a mouse everywhere. The funniest part was nobody knew it was him. The only reason we know is because he shared the story. He's an old guy now. But the sad part is, most of those mice died that day. Rest in peace. This kid got a summer job at a water park. Most employees spent their breaks sitting in the shade or eating a pretzel with cheese. And milk! Well, he spent his breaks in the wave pool. Because every single day, people would lose stuff in this wave pool. Sunglasses, necklaces, earrings, wedding rings. People would search for a few minutes and then they would always give up and they would leave. So every single break, he would throw on his goggles and he would get into this wave pool. And it's not easy to search the bottom of the wave pool, but this kid was a very talented swimmer and he could hold his breath for an incredibly long time. So he would spend his entire 30-minute break looking around the bottom of this pool. First day, he found a gold chain, then somebody's wedding ring, then somebody's waterproof wallet with $50 in it. Now, he had a decision to make. Should he take this stuff to the pawn shop to see what he can get for this gold necklaces and wedding rings? But he decided to bring it to the lost and found instead. And more people than not came back looking for their stuff, and they were always shocked that it was there, and they all had to thank this kid. It paid off eventually though, because one lady who had lost her incredibly valuable wedding ring came, and when she saw it, she was so relieved. She gave this kid $600. He was so grateful. He became a legend. He kept doing this every single day. It got to the point where his bosses let him take longer than usual breaks because now he wasn't searching just the wave pool. He was in the lazy river, the deep end of the dive pool, everywhere. And everything he found, he brought back to the office. Hey, you gotta respect the hustle. And that's a respectful one. This kid treated getting to lunch like it was the Olympics. The second the lunch bell rang, he was gone. He'd speed walk through the halls, weave around teachers, and sprint down the stairs because he wanted to be the first kid in line. His friends could never keep up. One afternoon, he came flying down the main staircase, taking 3 steps at a time like a pro. Well, he was moving too fast that the last few steps, he fell, and he felt bad. The cafeteria doors were right there. Everyone was coming behind him, and they all saw it, pointing at him, laughing. Loser! His own friends walked past him, and one of his friends looked down at him and said, "Bro, if you get up and hurry, you can still be first in line." Well, that awoken something in him, because he got up, and he limped his way to the cafeteria, and somehow he was second in line. Yes. But after school that day, his knee was so swollen, his mom had to take him to the doctor. He was so proud of what he accomplished. But the next day, he took a little bit more time getting to lunch. It's senior year, middle of class, when all of a sudden people hear, "Look, a horse!" People step out into the hallway and they see it. There's a horse just trotting down the hallway. The principal gets on the intercom and is like, "Everybody stay in your classrooms." Yeah, nobody listened. Kids are pouring out trying to see. They got their phones out. Yo, whose horse is that? The funny part is, this one teacher, he encouraged it. He told one of the kids in his class, "Hey, Billy, come here." "Yeah, what's up?" "Dude, I dare you to go ride that horse." "Okay." So now you have this horse trotting down the hallway hallway, a bunch of students standing to the side, filming it, and this one kid jogs up and hops on the horse. People are losing their minds, and at this moment, the horse is heading right for these big doors in the edge of the school, and students run up and they open the doors. That's when the kid who jumped on the horse is like, "Go!" and he gallops right outside the school. Now, the school was right next to these farms, so that's obviously where the horse came from, but this kid just goes. He's now outside of school on this random horse that somehow got in, galloping around fields of corn. And honestly, that would be the best day of school ever. Here's what happens when you punish everybody for one kid's mistake. This teacher caught one student throwing a paper airplane in class, but she gave the entire class detention. Detention for all of you! Every single person, even the kids that were just sitting there quietly doing their work. Well, the entire class was super mad, so they realized if they're gonna get punished anyway, they might as well do something to actually deserve it. So the next day, 10 more kids are launching paper airplanes in this class, mid-lecture, and the teacher doubled down, banned everybody from the upcoming field trip that they've been waiting for months. That's it, field trip is canceled. Now, yeah, that did suck for them. So now at this point, the entire class had nothing to lose. So by week 3, it was basically a rebellion. Every student would take their turn disrupting class, coughing loudly, pushing books off the desk, paper airplanes, humming, spitballs. Teacher kept getting angrier and angrier. "I'm gonna fail each and every one of you." The good kids who had perfect records just stopped caring because they're like, this thing started off so unfair. The breaking point came when the principal walked in during a surprise observation one day and found absolute chaos. 27 students standing on their desks chanting, "We hate Mrs. Johnson, we hate Mrs. Johnson," over and over again while the teacher is, "Enough, sit down, I'm gonna call your parents, I'm gonna call your parents." Half the class was facing potential suspension at this point. The principal immediately removed the teacher from the classroom. They did some digging, parents demanded meetings with the school board, and at the end of all of this, that teacher was let go. Well, she retired. Because it turns out if you erase the difference between innocent and guilty, everybody just picks guilty, because at least that way you're having fun. That's nuts. Everybody liked this one guy. Yo, it's like everybody. He was popular, funny, and he was always the center of every single party. So one night, there's this big party at somebody's house, and everybody's there. It's packed, there's music going, people chilling. Yo, this is a killer party, Johnny. Hey, thanks, man. I'm just honored that you're here. But you see, not everybody liked that kid. I hated him. So the kid that did not like him was talking to his friend. I just don't like the guy. Yeah, I don't like him that much anymore either. Dude, I'm in a group chat with him, and look what he's been saying. You see, he gets shown this group chat, and the popular kid is in this group chat talking trash about everybody, even his friends, even the girls he's currently hanging out with at the party. Hey, screenshot these and send me them. Okay. Don't say it was me. So he gets the screenshot, and then he plugs his phone into the HDMI port of the TVs in the living room of this party, and he pulls up all the screenshots. He turns off the music. Everybody, look! And he has these screenshots of all the horrible stuff he said right there on the TV. Wait, what? No, that's not me. People are mad. No, guys, they're jokes. I'm just joking in these. But it's too late. He had fallen from grace and he was shoved out of that party really quick. The next day he was at school, he went from popular to loser really quick. Hey, that's karma. Have you ever wondered how a middle school science lesson could save an entire building from exploding? This 8th grader named John was sitting in chemistry class learning about natural gas. His teacher explained that rotten egg smell isn't actually natural. They add a chemical called mercaptan, so people can detect leaks. Your nose can literally smell it at 1 part per billion. Regardless, John thought this was cool. Hey, that's cool. Well, the very next day, during a science lab in a different science class, he noticed a very faint smell of rotten eggs. He raised his hand and said, "Mr. Stevens, I think there might be a gas leak." Well, the teacher brushed it off and said, "John, that's probably from a different experiment or you're making things up." "No, I'm serious. It smells exactly like what Mr. Zern taught us yesterday." But the teacher told him just to sit down and stop disrupting class, please. So John did something bold. He walked straight to the office and he told the principal, "There's a gas leak in the lab. I'm pretty positive." The principal took him very seriously and he pulled the fire alarm himself and evacuated the entire school. Turns out there was a massive gas leak in the science building. The fire department said that if anybody lit a burner, which they were going to, the whole science wing could have exploded. John literally saved the school because he remembered a lesson from the day before. And yeah, that teacher definitely apologized to him. Big time. That's insane. Here's what happens when you're a frickin' Karen. This lady's about to board a flight. She storms up to the counter and is waving her phone in the agent's face. Hi, yeah, I paid for priority and that better mean something good. Well, the desk agent said, ma'am, yes, this is economy plus, so you'll be boarding in group 2. Just a few minutes, okay? Now, boarding hadn't even begun yet, but this lady loses it. I'm pretty sure I paid for a better plane ticket. You know what? I have so many followers, I'm gonna ruin you for this. This airline sucks. That's fine. Okay, I don't care. Just step back. Now, here's the thing. She threatens that she's gonna make a terrible video about the airline to ruin their reputation or to get this person fired, but no one cared. The thing is, that desk agent was actually gonna upgrade somebody to first class because there was one first class seat open. But now, it definitely wasn't gonna be her. Sir. Oh, yeah? What boarding group are you? Now, he's saying this loud enough for the lady to hear. Group 6. Well, it's your lucky day. I'm upgrading you to first class. And ma'am, I'm downgrading you to group 6. Now, this entire time, a bunch of other passengers were watching this thing go down. They were invested, and they cheered. Stop clapping! Screw you! And she threw a fit, and she was thrown out of the airport. Good. This guy was standing in line at the grocery store. It's a normal day, and right next to him is the priority lane for elderly people and people with disabilities. So there's chairs there. This elderly couple is sitting down waiting to check out. This guy walks up, cuts right in front of him. Excuse me. Hey man, they're already in line. I don't see them standing in line. He's being real smug. And the two elderly people are just sitting there, very uncomfortable. Well, this guy shuts up, but he's fuming. So he looks in the guy's cart. It's a full camping setup. He must be going to camping like right now. Sleeping bag, marshmallows, instant noodles, portable stove, bacon, and one single can of butane gas. Well, the guy's on the phone. He's loud, completely distracted. So this guy reaches into his cart and takes the butane gas, puts it in his own cart. The dude pays for his groceries, leaves. The elderly couple finally checks out, and this guy goes home. But he's sitting there, laughing to himself, because somewhere out there a man pulled into a campsite, got unpacked, and was getting ready to make dinner, but couldn't find the gas anywhere, which would cause him to take a very lengthy drive back to the store. That is awesome. It's lunch. One group goes to sit down at their normal spot, but another group's already sitting there. This is our table. We've been sitting here all week. Nobody moves. It's a standoff. That's when somebody from one of the groups says, hey guys, why don't we all just share the table? So they all cram into this one table. Awkward small talk at first. Then somebody from group A comments, yo, aren't you that guy that cried during the fire drill? It was one time, dude, the alarm was loud. Group A starts laughing. Well, group B fires back. Well, didn't you fail the easiest history test last semester? At least I didn't pee my pants during prom. Now it's on. Insults are flying. Old drama resurfacing. One kid slaps another guy. Cat. A teacher walks over. Hey, what's going on here? Both groups go silent. Nothing, we're just bonding. Yeah, sure you are. The teacher walks away. For the rest of the lunch, they sit there silent. But the next day, they both sat at that table again, and instead of insults, they were actually telling stories and laughing. So, I don't know. I think they all became friends. A substitute teacher walks into class. She's taking attendance, butchering every single name. She gets through everything, but then someone's like, miss, you forgot about Denise. Oh, Denise? Yeah, she's here. Right there. And the kid points to an empty desk. The substitute's like, I don't see anybody there. But then another student's like, she's just very quiet. But yeah, she's here, see? Okay. The sub then manually put in Denise's name on the sheet and wrote next to it, here. 10 minutes later, the substitute's handing out papers. Someone says, hey miss, don't forget to give Denise one. And the sub does. Oh, you're right. My bad. Here you go, Denise. Miss, she also needs a pencil. Oh, okay, here, Denise. So now, obviously, no one is sitting at that desk, but this teacher is going along with it? Or maybe she's actually believing that someone is there, but she just can't see them? By the end of class, she's talking to this empty desk like it's a real person. Okay, does everyone understand today's lesson? Denise, how about you? Yeah, she gets it, miss. And on the sub sheet to turn into the teacher, the substitute wrote, Denise was quiet today, but she completed all her work. Overall, class was great. The next day, the real teacher comes back and reads the notes. Class, who the heck is Denise? And everyone burst out laughing. I bet they had that sub thinking she was going crazy. They respected Denise though, huh? Here's what happens when you sell snacks to a rich kid. This guy's running a lot. This kid started the dumbest rumor at school. He told one of his friends, hey, did you know the cafeteria has a secret menu? His friend was like what? And without even thinking, the kid says, grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. Now, that's not true. The cafeteria does not have a secret menu and they definitely don't make grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. But the next day, the kid he told went to the lunch line, walked up there and said, hey, can I get the grilled mac? A what? She was like, no, we don't make that. But the rumor kept spreading. By Friday, like 20 kids asked for it. The lunch ladies kept saying, we don't have that. But this kid, he kind of upped the rumors a bit by saying, oh no, you have to ask the right lunch lady for it. Or only 8th graders know how to say it. It got so ridiculous, the principal was like, yo, what is going on? This went on for a while until one day, the cafeteria was serving mac and cheese. And they had bread and butter. So one of the lunch ladies in the kitchen was like, you know what? Fine. Let's make some grilled mac and cheese. And let me tell you, apparently, it was absolutely delicious. When someone came up there and ordered it, and they actually said yes, cheers began.
আমার নিজের মনে হইতেছে আমি কিং বাদশা
বেলা শেষে পেন্সিল ভাষা পেল কি
কেমন মনমরা হইয়া থাকিস কি হয়েছে আমার বল
ঠিক তোমার বাচ্চা
पलट के देखेगी
এমনি সূত্রাবো আমি জানি না
আমার কাছে আইডিয়া আছে জামশেদ চাচার খবর নিয়ে গেছে মানে
উনার কাছে ঢুকছিল তাই
আলার পুদায় পোলাপান ডাক
আমি তোমারে হারাইতে দিব না
এবার যাও বাচ্চা আজকে তোমার কি হয়েছে বলো তো
আবার চুরি করছে আজকে একদিন কি তার একদিন আমি তার একটা কাজটা খেলাম আমার জমানো কেন হ্যাঁ আমার সংসারের টাকা চুরি কইরা জমানো টাকা চুরি কইরা তুই কি করলি এত বেলা করে ঘুমাইতে চলবো
তুরু এত ভালো একটা স্বপ্ন দেখতেছিলাম আর আমার সং কইলা না একদিন আইসো আমার পারফরমেন্স দেখতে আইসো দেখো মানুষ কেমনে তালি দেয়
ঠিকানা বিলীন হয় সীমানা
এখনো হয়নি আগামী সপ্তাহে জানতে পারবো
আচ্ছা অসুবিধা নাই যদি আপনার এখানে না
আসো তুমি এরকম মুড অফ করে থাকলে কেমন ভালো লাগে বলো
একজন মানুষকে চেনার জন্য তার সাথে অনেক দিন ধরে মেলামেশা করার প্রয়োজন হয় না
মা তোর একটা কথা বলি
কি কথা বাবা
এই বিয়ে তো প্রায়
করতাম সেটা অন্য বিষয় কিন্তু এখন তো সিরিয়াস হওয়া উচিত তাই না
তোমার বাসার অ্যাড্রেস বলো কত নাম্বার সেক্টর?
কিসের প্রহর ফিরে পাবো কিসের সময়?
শুভ সাহেব, আমি বলছি, দেখেন,
নাও, যদি তোমার ইচ্ছে করে তুমি চাকরি করবা।
সন্ধে আকাশে খুঁজে আজ রং।
না মানে এই হ্যাঁ ইয়ে ওই যে সিনেমা, শাহরুখ খানের সিনেমা দেখতে দেখতে বড় হয়েছি না।
ভয় পাচ্ছেন কেন? সামনে আসেন, আরে আরো কাছে আসেন।
আকাশে খুঁজে আজ রং, জানালায় জোড়া চোখ।
আগে দায়িত্ব ছিল না, তাই হারানোর ভয়ও ছিল না, আর এখন দায়িত্ব আছে, তুই ছাড়া কিন্তু আমার কেউ নাই। হ্যাঁ,
আমি জায়গায় থাকতে পারবো না, তুইও ঘুমাই পড়।
আচ্ছা আমি যাইতেছি।
কি সমস্যা? বাচ্চা, আজকে তোমার কি হয়েছে বলো তো?
যখন আমি খোলা চুলে দেখি এই দিলে तुम नहीं समझोगी प्रिया।